Hi everyone. My name. Firstly, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Hossein Ajakbel. I'm here to talk about a case study which is about a company named APC, an automobile part company, and how an employee, David, a new employee at in a top position in the company, and how he nearly got employed in the company, and he noticed some unethical issue and legal issue within the company. So, and I'm here to talk about the scenarios in the company, like the current situation of the company, what are the things that are at stake at the company, things that have been violated, and what are the recommendations I'll be recommending to this company, and concerning the injuries and advantages and disadvantages of things that are going on in this company. So I'll be unraveling on revealing a lot of stuff going on in this company. So firstly, I would start by talking about the case study. It's a complaint, an automobile complaint, and David. I'll be assuming myself as a David and as an employee because I'll be looking at some of his concern, some of the ethical concern. Yeah. So, firstly, there are a lot. I would like to start by asking some questions, which the case studies are to answer, are to are being which some questions which are in the case study with which there are no precise answers to, and which demands an answer and clear pathway and also some ethical solution. Firstly, I will start by identifying the legal issue within the legal issue and the ethical issue within the organization. So firstly, I would say start with the legal issue, and I would say the first legal issue I could pinpoint from the case study was health and safety violation. Yeah, it's one of the top violation which is being noticed in the case study, and even with the regulation, with the company's safety regulation, when I read through it in the safety, it's part of the regulation to promote good, safe working environment and more safety, and to keep safety in charge, in good position and in charge. So this organization actually, the one of the other issue are health and safety violation, which is due to maybe inadequate training on a machine or new employee on new equipment they are working on. So this violation is as a result of violation of Occupational Health and Safety Violation Act, which is OHSA, which is a violation of occupational and safety health. Secondly, I would like to talk about the discrimination going on in the organization. Obviously, there is a discrimination in the hiring process, whereas it requires workers born in Canada, excluding those are in Quebec, those are born in Quebec, hindering then their chances of getting a job in the organization. That's definitely a violation of human rights code, potential discrimination lawsuit or stuff like that. So that's a violation to human rights or discrimination. Um, Thirdly, I would like to talk about another legal issue which I could tell from the case study. That's I would say inadequate compensation and benefits to employee within the organization, firing junior employees and hiring temporary workers at lower wages without even benefit for them. That's a high violation of one of people's benefit and all that. So more like this is a violation of employment standards and workers' rights. Yeah. So as that being said, I would like to go into some of the ethical issues which are also noticed within the organization. First, I would say the ethical issue which I'll be starting off with is employee health and safety. As we can tell from the case study, numerous workplace injury occur in so many times, and that has raised a lot of concern within the organization. why people are concerned within the organization about the injuries and unsafe acting within the organization that led to injury or due to lack of training. So lack of proper training. This ethical concept is it's more like duty of care, neglecting the duty of care of people, caring about what's necessary within the organization. My second ethical issue, which I could pinpoint from here, will be exclusion of Quebec-born individuals from employment. This is definitely a ethical concept of fair and ethical. This is definitely like more like the ethical concept of being fair and equality, but these are been bridged within the organization. So this is another ethical issue within the organization, which is thirdly, the ethical scenario in this situation, which I feel I need to address, is invasion of private privacy or a mandatory urine sample collection of without people consent for what they are being used for this thing. This is like a violation of right to privacy. Yeah, that's another ethical this I could pinpoint from that. Then another one, the fourth one will be employee exploitation. This is use of temporary worker to avoid paying wages and benefit for every other worker which might needed to get their benefit. So they tend to use temporary workers so that they could avoid paying the required payment and wages or whatever benefit an employee could get. So they this is more like an ethical way of more like using their way of exploiting people and exploiting people and unfair treatment to people as well. So another one would be financial transparency. More in the case study, I could say that they fired a reputable auditor and hired a smaller firm. So this is more like transparency have been bridged within the organization. So transparency and integrity in the financial report has definitely been bridged because with a bigger firm and a reputable auditing firm, everything they are not gonna compromise based on the company you are. They prefer more of the integrity, and you don't have much power in controlling what going to report or what how they are going to go about the auditing and all that. So lastly, on the ethical issues which are here, I would like to talk of conflict of interest. Looking at the conflict of interest, I feel this is one of the major reasons why there have been like a lot of ethical and legal issues within the company due to conflict of interest as a result of the president owning the labor supply company and as well the APC company, the automobile part company as well. It's more like here there's a conflict of interest and prioritizing between for the president of either prioritizing his financial well-being over personal gain or employee gain or employee benefit or well-being. So there is a conflict that he has to. I think he prioritized most of. He prioritized himself, his gain, business advantages, and all that over people's well-being or other advantages which an employee might actually get rewarded from. So, looking at that, as that being said, I would like to talk about or some of the things which are like the alternative course of David as an employee within an organization as a new employee within an organization. Alternative, I would like to talk about some alternative course of action for David, which he feels like this is an ethical situation within the company and it feels very uncomfortable within the organization. So I'm assuming I'm David in this position. So I would like to talk about some of the course of action which we could take to in order to tackle these situations. So, firstly, I would like to talk about as I'm talking about this action, I would like to talk about the pros and cons as well. Some of the advantages and disadvantages which you might encounter while doing this. So, firstly, I would say one of the way action you could go about is quitting your job. So in this way, the advantage is you're either maintaining your personal integrity, avoiding associating with unethical practice which you don't believe in, and the disadvantage could be losing loss of income. Yeah, possible damage your career. Oh yeah, so maybe you might. Some people might not be able to get up from a career when they are at the top, and they when they lose a career, they could be like a setback a little bit, get in order to pick up again, start to find a job in a high position or a place where you might actually need to find more ethical environment. So it might be another challenge for him. So secondly, another alternative action for David should be is either like okay, reporting to regulations. The advantage of reporting the issue to regulation could be potentially to stop unethical practice and protect employee. That's if you report to regulations. I'm sure there are regulations everywhere, regulations like regulators everywhere. There are regulators every sector. I'm sure there are like at a workplace there are regulators who look into things, ethical issues within the organization. So that's being said. So the advantage of that reporting could be to regulators could be potentially to stop unethical practice, and disadvantage it could be possible retaliation or from the job from the company. They could probably treat him bad as well. They could probably retaliate based on what is reporting his reports to regulators, or it could add to his job loss or some legal battle. And third one is whistleblowing to the media. The pros of whistleblowing to media in the sense that it exposes the issue publicly, and it kind of put pressure on companies to change when they see their image being portrayed in a very bad way. So a lot of people want to change, especially when it's a big company. So they wouldn't want their image to be put out in that way where people see them in a very bad way. So this could actually go a long way in shaping the company to adjust to good ethical behavior and all that. So the another disadvantage on this is legal consequences. You could have some legal consequences about the personal and professional risk. Professional risk, I would say, in sense of when you try to get another, you could lose the job actually, and you try to get another job. You shall say some complaints. Some companies might not want to employ you based on what they see on maybe through the media. Like you cause this social company a lot of damage based on your report an issue which is unethical. Although it's a good practice to report an ethical issue, but it caused the company a damage or making them look bad in public and all that. I feel a little company will not want to employ someone who might serve as a prompt to a prompt to make them feel like they employ the wrong person in the sense that you could report an ethical issue within the organization with to public as well, and they could start to go about going to the public, making them known as a bad company in everywhere. So that could affect his career, professional risk as well. So the fourth one I'll be talking, fourth action for I think it's better. I think this is way better, but it depends as well. Firstly, I think this should be the first action of for David for to take actually. The fourth one I would say internal reform. This is more like directly improving the company practice and regulations, protecting employees in sense of these like in sense of from what we could see, a lot of people in the company do not even train on the job. They just when they get the job, they just go in straight into working without proper training or perhaps without even enough time to train them on the job. Like as it says in the case study, some just require I think 8 months or no, 8 hours to 2 weeks on some kind of job. But the company has neglected that. You could put all this measure in place and enforce it on people so people can comply and let them know that these are the consequences for not complying with this. So I would say the fifth way to go about this could be seeking a legal counsel. Yeah, I think this is one of the better way to go about this in sense of the advantage of seeking a legal option is or it makes you understand your legal options. It makes you weigh your options on how you want to go about this situation, what you should do, and how you are not gonna be protecting yourself legally, and protect and how you are not gonna be affecting any other people that might be affected in this situation. So the disadvantage of this majorly is your cost. It's gonna cost you your personal money seeking a legal advice or counseling and all that. So I think that's it for that. And as Barbin said, another thing I would like to talk about from the case study would be the current situation in the organization. I would like to talk about what, from my point of view, what I could tell like the current situation is at the organization. I could say that the company or the organization has is the motive is for profit. It has a profit-driven motive in terms of cutting costs at all expense of expensive in order to benefit the company itself, in order to make more money, in order to make more money. I could say like the company are more concerned. Their major goal is just the business part of the company, make more money at the expense of anything that it could be, anything that could go wrong, anything that it could be affected also. So the current another second situation currently at the company is lack of proper training program. Yeah, definitely that's a big issue which has led to serious injury. Insufficient training had led to a lot of high rate of injury within the organization. So that's another current situation which I could see from the complaint as well. So thirdly, I could say another current situation which is currently going on in the company is high employee turnover. A lot of people live in the company, no job security, frequent hiring of temporary worker, creating instability within the organization, no job security. It's not. I don't think it's a job you could count off as a job because anything could be done at any time. Hiring new people frequently, and a lot of people getting injured and all that. So it's not a job you want to hold to yourself and say this is a job. This is a job that isn't consistent about your employment status. You could probably be laid off or something like that. More like people are leaving frequently, exactly. So that's another situation or of the current situation in the current company right now. And fourthly, I would say inadequate management, which is poor supervision and failure to follow safety protocol. There's a poor management in the system. Definitely, there has been a poor management. That's why a lot of things have been going on wrong within the system due to poor management in sense of safety, in sense of in sense of safety, or in sense of union laying of union council people in the in the complaint, and trying to manipulate people. So trying to use people, manipulate people to benefit and maltreat them in some ways. So there has been a management issue definitely in this aspect. So I would say another current situation in the company is conflict of interest. Yeah, I feel this is a major reason why there has been a lot of legal issues within the company. Like I said earlier, or the conflict of interest is more like the own it definitely it's actually the ownership of the labor supply company is owned by the president, and the company of automobile is also owned by the president. More like the recruiter is the same person that recruits for his own job. The same person that recruits the same person that owns the job. So this situation has led to a very biased decision that favors or that favors the company's well-being over the people's well-being over time. Definitely. So I would like to talk. As that being said, I would like to talk about some of the measures which I think could be put in place, and I wish I think could be a best practice in order to make things go right within the company. Firstly, I would say implementing comprehensive training programs for people, ensuring all employees receive adequate safety training. Yeah, that could reduce injury or whatever within the organization. So, loss of life, poverty, or injuries. So, secondly, I will recommend establishing clear safety protocol. Yeah, regular inspections and compliance with safety guidelines. So more like you have to follow up this safety protocol which you have in place, ensure people follow it up, and whenever whenever they violate these, ensure that there is some kind of consequence for them to pay for. The third one, I would say, the third recommendation or best measure for this would be fair employment practice. Yeah, I think eliminating discrimination in the hiring process will go a long way, ensuring fair wages and benefit and fair decision to human rights generally, instead of being biased to some group of people based on some certain thing or belief. So I think this will promote fairness within an organization and make things go even with the organization. And another measure I would like to talk about, which I feel it will be like my recommendation within these, and as David, as it is concerned as well, will be regular audit and transparency. Engaging in reputable auditing firm, hiring a reputable auditing firm, so they could maintain transparency with a reputable firm. I feel like there could be more transparency. They wouldn't want to compromise their integrity, and they wouldn't be bossed around by the president of the company. Yeah, so I think that should go a long way as well. And secondly, lastly, yeah, exactly, but not the least, about my recommendation will be clearly uh, about the conflict of interest. So I would suggest there should be a clear separation between the complaint and the labor supply entity. Yeah, I think that's one of the major challenges within the organization. And that's one of the major things why things have been going wrong. Let's assume a situation whereas we have a complaint that employs people for a complaint. This complaint was going aside. This complaint has a duty of prioritizing as a different entity of a company that employs for an organization. They have a duty of prioritizing your health, your well-being, your benefit as a person, as an employee within the organization, and making sure you get those benefits. So in that sense, when you have a different entity, they could actually fight for you based on this, have a union and all that. But when the same company employs you, they are the one in charge of your union, your employer, your benefit and all that. So that a lot of disasters. They could do whatever they wanted to do. They could play the game to their own advantage. So I think that should go a long way, exactly separating the labor complaint from the actual company itself. Uh, Looking at all being said, and my recommendation has been made, the situation that the company has been said, and every other thing has been said as well. So I would like to talk about some of the books or reference journal which I use in leveraging my discussion, which I use in making some of my decision, and which I feel actually make me understand the case study, and which has made me bring out my point out of this. I would like to reference an article by PhD holder Jen Dio, the role of ethical leadership in promoting workplace safety. According to her, this ethical leadership significantly contributes to establishing of safe and fair working environment by prioritizing employee well-being and adhering to safety regulation. This journal was published in 2021. Yeah, exactly. So my second reference will be Occupational Health and Safety Act, which is OHSA. So I actually look into the Ontario Ministry of Labour Safety Act, look at what are in place about safety, since safety has been violated and safety have been talked about a lot in this case study. So I had to look into that, the Safety Act of Ontario, and see what involved. And I could see a lot of safety tips and a lot of safety regulations when safety is violated and occupational health is violated, how to go about it and all that. So my third reference would be um, an article which is reviewed by an article which says why ethical companies are more successful. This was written by a PhD holder by John Smith, and it was published in 2022. This article actually go a long way, and I think it's going to convince even companies and a lot of other people who don't practice ethical way, who are just after the personal benefit. And this article has been able to convince everyone, and even me myself, that it argues that corporate organization or organization that integrate ethical consideration into their core strategy not only enhance their reputation but also achieve better financial performance and increase employee satisfaction. I believe a lot of employee companies might want to look into this, because some believe, because according to the case study, it is believed that they feel like when they could use the time in using training people, they could use it to make more money by putting people to the job to work on the job and make more money in their production instead of training, wasting time on training people. So that, as that has been said, so I believe with this, an employee could see like a safe practice and looking into an ethical way of practice within an organization. It will actually promote the company's performance and even their financial performance as well. So my fourth reference is the Ethic of Management by Laroon Thomas Osman, as management as this case scenario, this case study lacks management proper management issue and handling of management situation. So I look into the management ethics of management and how you should go about and management ethics within an organization that lacks that. And lastly, human right violations. So I look into a reference which is human resources management and how you to manage human resources within an organization and woman itself within an organization and everything. And as that being said, I hope I've been able to convince many organizations out there why it's safe to practice ethical behavior within an organization, and I'm able to give points from my view of points and from everything I've said why it's good, and I've been able to make a recommendation, and I've been able to cite some of the problems which have been highlighted within this case study, and I've been able to highlight everything. Thank you very much for your time. I would like to end it here. Thank you very much. And thanks for staying tuned with me.